lovedreamingpeach.com.
Peaches, how are you? I hope you're well. I just wanted to do this video because I've been watching Parker again on TikTok. He debates people who say that they're going to vote for Trump. And I stopped watching him a while ago because I noticed that there's a pattern with literally everybody that he speaks to, and he focuses only on people who are claiming that they're going to vote for Trump, and his intention is to debate them. But there's like these sound bites and these propaganda like replies that these MAGA cultists say, and it's, you can see that they are listening to like these, maybe the Fox, maybe they're listening to Fox, or maybe they're just listening to Donald Trump, or maybe they're just listening to the people that are pushing out these specific points. So I just think that it's very interesting that you can hear the repetitious replies. And, it's true that there's repetitious replies on both sides, but I feel like one side is trying to unify and do good for everyone, and the other side is supporting a Hitler wannabe. So I thought I was going to write it down, but then I thought, well, let me just do the video. It's 12:43 a.m. and it's a school night, and I'm supposed to be going to bed with getting my kids ready for bed. So, okay. So when it's pointed out to them, when I say them, I'm talking about the MAGA people I've been hearing. They say, so if you say, oh, he lies, they say, everybody lies. Then Parker says, would you vote for somebody who has been found legally liable of violent SA? Then there's a few replies that they will say. It's either, oh, I didn't know about that, or some people just say flat out, yes, I would. Some people say, well, that's personal. No, it's not personal. When somebody does violence against someone, that's public, because society needs to be free from violence, and people who are violent, it's a public issue. So the majority of the people will say, oh, well, that was civil court. It doesn't matter. If it was real, he'd be in jail. And then when they are told that the statute of limitations, ran out, and then they changed the statute of limitations because of all of the priests who had hurt people. And so New York wanted to give people who were adults who had been through something as children, they wanted to give them the opportunity to get justice. So E. Jean Carroll was able to get justice because of that change that happened for many, many, many survivors. And so she was able to sue in a legal civil case, not in criminal court. That doesn't mean that he didn't do it, and it doesn't mean that it wasn't violent, and it doesn't mean that it wasn't real. And in fact, she went to 2 separate cases that she won both. First $5 million, then $83 million. She was awarded that he has to pay her $88 million. Found guilty, or I should say legally liable, because it's civil, by 2 separate juries of 9 people, unanimously. But the MAGA people, they will say civil court doesn't matter. They'll say she's lying. They'll say she's just doing it for clout, or she's just trying to come after him because he was running for president. Or they'll just flat out say, yes, I would vote for a rapist. Then we get to the 34 felons. Same kind of nonsense. They deny it. They say it's not real. They say, oh no, it's a Democratic state. New York is all filled with Democrats. Then Parker will point out, well, a lot of those lawyers or judges or whatever, they were appointed by Trump. Oh well, it was a witch hunt. It's all lies. Okay. They'll deny that he's racist. They'll flat out say he's not racist. He's done more for this group of people, that group of people, these people, those people. But then when they're given the facts about all the very many times that he has done and said racist things, going all the way back to like the 70s and all the way up to like literally today, denies, all denies, will deny it all. They talk about the border. He's got no policies. All he does is talk about othering people and talking about anyone he can, except for white Nazi, white supremacists. I'm yawning. It's exhausting. The ignorance, the willful ignorance, and the flat out hate, and the utter misogyny, the racist misogyny. What I have learned is that the people who, at least who are on TikTok calling in and saying, yes, I'm going to vote for Trump, or the people I've seen on YouTube on videos where they're like interviewing, and it's not just Parker. I've been following a bunch of different creators who go to rallies, and they have spoken to many, many, many different people. And it's literally flabbergasting. It's mind-blowing, mind-boggling that they just make excuse after excuse after excuse for this man who's an actual criminal. And, it's just so clear that you would rather you have two options. You have someone who is an actual criminal, a racist, xenophobic hate monger, a misogynist, a rapist, a crook, a liar, a thief, an insurrectionist. He's tried to overthrow the government. He's trying to do it now. It's in your face. And then you're like, I don't like her laugh. You question the color of her skin. I don't like her voice. She doesn't know. She can't string two sentences together. Or I've actually heard people saying, I don't even know who she is. Like, how is your utter ignorance? How is the fact that you are literally a complete moron who knows nothing except your head is filled with lies and hate, and you would vote for a racist, xenophobic rapist? You're cool with that? Like, anywhere in the world, do you think that it's cool to go to work and your boss is a 34 convicted felon? Why? Because he's trying to overthrow the government, and he's trying to cover up the fact that he had, some kind of sexual relations with a sex worker while his third wife, was giving birth to his like fifth or sixth kid, or I don't even remember. I lost count. And it's just mind-boggling how hateful so many people are. I had this one dumb motherfucker get on one of my YouTube videos and was like, you only think this because you're a Trump supporter. Like, have you seen a single video of mine? Like, what are you talking about? Wow. Well, I've already voted. Early voting by mail voted for Kamala. Of course. Hopefully you'll do the same.
Cat, lovedreamingpeach.com.
Oh yeah, I'm continuing part 2 with things that insane MAGA people say. When asked, what about the felonies? Or what about the grape? Another thing that they've said, I've noticed lately, a new response is, well, I'm thinking about the future. That's the past. Forget about the past. Let's just look for the future. So, somebody did a really terrible, violent crime, but forget about it. Let's just look forward to the future, because if you found out that somebody did that, you wouldn't care about your daughter going to work for them, or even your son, that's fine. And then what about this one that I've been hearing a lot lately? When asked about, well, how do you feel about, this racist statement, that racist statement, him calling undocumented people these things, those things, terrible things, terrible things. I don't want to say them. I don't want to get struck down. But all the things that he says, you could go find the quotes. Just search Trump speeches. Look it up. There it is for you. And then they say, well, I wasn't there. You not being there has no bearing on whether or not he's racist. That's not a response. I wasn't there. Like somebody said, well, do you believe that Haitians are eating cats and dogs? And his answer was, I wasn't there. Okay, but the people who were there have made it clear these are hateful, xenophobic lies being spread to actually create hate and violence towards communities. And that's exactly what's happened. And children have been not able to go to school, and other grown-ups haven't been able to go to certain places because of bomb threats from hateful, ignorant people who believe lies. And then they say, well, I wasn't there. Or, I don't know. You have to ask them. Well, they did ask them, and they said, no, that's not happening. But they just ignore it. Just ignore it. And, when you listen to these MAGA cultists make every excuse, it's like there's two worlds. One world where this guy, he can rape people, he can assault. Over 26 women have come out to talk about what he's done to them. And what about all the ones who haven't come out? We know that he tried to overturn an election. He still talks about it to this day. It slips out every now and then, like, I lost by a whisker. I lost by a little bit. I didn't lose. I mean, it's only 11,000 votes. That's not a lot. That's such a small amount. It's 1% of half of a point of 2.0 through the hole and around in a circle. And then when you spread it out real thin, you spread it out so thin. Bitch, you still lost. Any which way you slice it, even if we cut the crusts off and cut it into a little dinosaur or whatever shapes you like, Donnie, you lost. And people just suspend all reality. That's what I'm saying. You got one set of rules for this person and a complete another set of lawlessness, chaos, accepting every crime, every lie, every evil, hateful thing being said. And your answers are, I wasn't there. You got to ask them. Or like when questioning Kamala's race, and then they say something like, and when they're told the obvious, which it's like you shouldn't even answer those questions. But when they're answered, and then the response is, well, we're just asking the question. Well, yeah, because you're an ignorant, racist pig. Because you are bleep, 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 fill in all the ever terrible thoughts and insults and words that you could ever imagine. Because that's what the rage that is invoked to know that people are just that hateful. Like there was this one awful pig lady on Parker's Live, and she went through all the talking points, the border, and then what was the other thing she was saying? Then she was talking about Kamala's race. Then she was talking about abortion, and she's like asserting that life starts at conception, and then so Parker asks her like a hypothetical question. Well, if there was if you were in a building and there was like a real baby, being a born baby, already born, and then there was like, let's say it was like an IVF clinic, and then there was some frozen embryos or zygotes or whatever over there, and you could only save either the baby or the zygotes, multiple zygotes, what would you grab? She did so many. She was Simone Biles pretzel fucking mental gymnastics in her brain that she was like, well, I would save the zygotes. It's like they're so unable to logic that they will literally say the most ridiculous, heinous, unbelievable thing to try to they think that they're answering. They're like, oh, and then she's like, you're asking these ridiculous hypotheticals that would never happen. And he's like, well, I'm trying to take your reasoning and put it into a scenario and then ask you what you would do. And it's called like logic and reasoning. And she's like, you're just manipulating. Like, lady, you're the one who just said that you would actually save zygotes over a baby, an actual born baby. But the problem is that when you pretend that you care about life, but then you would turn around and allow a living woman to suffer and maybe die, you're proving you don't care about life, because that woman is already living and she has a full life, and what she chooses to do with her life is extremely important. But you think it's more important the fertilized egg in her womb, which this girl said in her stomach. She said life starts at conception when the baby's growing in your stomach. In your stomach? I think that's not right. Right? And it's like, what about the living, breathing woman who has an entire life that she gets to decide about? That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. And ultimately, it really, to me, comes down to misogyny, racism, and xenophobia. Because you can't justify backing a man like that unless you are like a man like that. You are racist, xenophobic. You are a sexual abuser. You're a predator. You're somebody who would elect and vote for a sexual predator, which means that you would allow women and men and all kinds of everybody to be exposed to this type of violence, and that you don't care about people being safe and free from that kind of behavior, that kind of so-called leader that's actually a predator, a violent offender, a crook. There's no excuse. You're a racist, you're a pig, you're misogynist, you're xenophobic, you're hateful. You are the problem. You are what's wrong with, things. So anyway,
catlovedreamingpeach.com.
I'm going to say the loud part quietly. I'm going to say it quietly because it's 2:31 a.m. and my kids are sleeping. But this is part 3, kind of the 2 videos I just made about maga. But it's kind of also part 1 because it's the most important part. I was going to get on here and just sort of bitch about white people, which there's a big chunk of white people that, as a white person, I'm ashamed of, and it's humiliating that I walk outside and I know that people who see me, who don't know me, could very easily associate me with those other white people, and that's horrific, and it's shameful, and it's embarrassing. And of course there are people of all the various melanated tones and saturations on the spectrum who can be hateful and prejudiced and bigoted and homophobic and xenophobic and racist. So I'm one of those white people who actually believe that there's no such thing as racism against white people, because there's no such thing as systemic racism that harms white people. So I believe, similar to this article I'm reading right here about why reverse racism is a myth, says, like I'm saying, prejudice exists. You can be prejudiced against people. You can have racial prejudice. You can believe in stereotypes. You can be the kind of person who says all white people are racist, or all white people smell like wet dogs, or whatever, kind of, I don't know. But the fact is that even if they do think that, while they might be able to, while someone who may feel that way towards a white person can individually harm a specific white person, or maybe even a group of white people, the fact is that there is no systemic racism that harms white people. So individual people's prejudice against a white person is not going to have the same negative impact that a white person exhibiting racism towards a person of color could potentially have, because we live in a society where being white affords you certain privileges simply because you're white. However, the idea that there's this privilege that allows white people or misguided people of color, they're all misguided, that they can actually just start to openly hate, openly be misogynistic, openly say, yes, I will actually vote for a rapist. The fact that the people who are in power at the highest levels to pick the Republican candidate for president has said, yeah, we nominate this dude. Now, it's true, a lot of Republicans are now Republicans for Kamala. A lot of Republicans have come out and denounced him and talked about how he is, like a fascist. Not like, is a fascist. I've heard a few of the people I follow, like Luke Beasley, and who was the other one who said it? I don't know if it was Michael Cohen, Ben Meiselas, Michael Popak, one of them. Oh, Tim Miller. One of them was like, we're not calling you Hitler. Oh, hell yes we are. I am calling you Hitler. Hitler wannabe. Absolute Hitler wannabe. Dictator wannabe. Fascist. pig. He's a predator. He's an insurrectionist. He's a dangerous person. He's a criminal. He should be getting sentenced to go to prison. My sister and I were having a conversation on the phone today, and we were remarking to each other how we both what never ceases to amaze me is that I never stop being shocked at things that people say. Racist, stupid, hateful white people. And yes, there are some, like I said, there's some other people who are not white who also say stupid, horrible, racist things. And it's also shocking, especially when, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know, people can be hateful. Just wanted to show that, but because of where I'm sitting or whatever, it's too far away to be in this shot. Anyway, people are, but I just don't understand it. I don't know if it's because I was blessed. If you're new here, then you may not know that my mother is a black woman, although she's not my biological mother, which is why I am white. But yet, my mom is black, and I don't know. I don't know if I had been raised by that white woman who gave birth to me, if I would have. Now, I don't think that she's racist. She was just extremely abusive and fucked up in the, just a fucked up person. And, well, I can share that my sister told me recently, which I didn't know, but my sister told me that once in a long while she will sneak a peek and look at her Facebook and our aunt, and she saw that they're very liberal. And I was like, well, now we can say one good thing about her. At least there's that. But I don't know if the fact that I've been raised by a black woman since I was 3 years old is part of what, raised by my black, beautiful Haitian mother and my white father, American. And I don't know if I'm sorry, I'm glitching a little bit because I'm trying to imagine a world view where I could imagine myself thinking that one kind of group of people are somehow better than another group. Oh, this is what I was going to say. I think it was Jasmine Crockett I heard say that the reason why these people want this, the real reason why they're so anti-DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the reason why they're so gung-ho on this bullshit is because that's the only way that unqualified, rich, nepo baby white people can be in roles of leadership. And everywhere you go, almost, these unqualified white men and sometimes white women are in positions of power when they are so clearly not the best one for the job. And it's because of this systemic racism that is affirmative action for white people. white people get the easy, clear path, and everybody else has to fight. And now people like disgusting Donald Trump and all of his disgusting neo-Nazis are just spewing hatred because they are unqualified and they don't have anything.
Cáete lovedreamingpeach.com.
And the thing is about speaking out against racists is that, you know, sometimes it can feel like you can feel scared to speak out. You can feel like, or I shouldn't say you. It's one of my personal pet peeves is when people say you, but they really mean I. And I always try to remind myself that I'm talking about I. So I have personally felt at times, many times, various times throughout my life, I felt afraid to speak out, to speak the truth about the wrongs that I've witnessed or that I'm witnessing. And currently, October 30th of 2024, and yesterday, Tuesday, October 29th, 2024, some stupid fucking racist white guy, some dumb ass comedian got on the stage at Madison Square Garden and said some of the most racist, disgusting stuff. And then other dumb white racist people like J.D. Vance and just dumb maga cultist people say things like, oh, you just can't take a joke. Well, certain things are just not funny. Certain things are just not jokes. Certain things are just hate. And it's actually, as I was finally getting to the point in my last video, I personally believe that the real reason, the truth, there's like multiple truths, there's lots of truths, but a couple of main truths of why racism is so prevalent is because most of these people who feel this way also like recognize their own inadequacy, and instead of, so the same people who talk about DEI not being about merit and about like hard work and stuff, those are the same people who, it's like any narcissist who tells on themselves like that whatever they accuse the other of is they are actually self-snitching. So when they say DEI means there's no merit, no, it's you know that you can't compete in a world that is diverse, that's equanimity, where people, well, equanimity is not the same as equity, okay, but where people actually have a chance. We're not just all the same fucking unqualified nepo baby rich people. Yeah, they all want to only compete with each other because they got mama and daddy's money and resources and clout and getting it in, greasing the door, whatever the fuck they're doing. All of the stepping stones that make it easy for them. Everything that was set up for their success and everything that's set up for the failure of all other people. And then when all those other people are like, you know what? We deserve opportunities too. So let's put some rules in place so we can all have a fair shot, because you stupid dumbass white motherfucking racists over there think that you deserve it all. Like, what is actually wrong with you? I know what's wrong with you. You're inadequate and you know you cannot compete. You cannot compete fairly. This is the racist people. Of course, there's many people who are white who are not racist, like me. There's many people who are white who actively fight against stupid fucking racists, like me. Even if all I can do is make some videos hoping to reach a few people, that's what I was saying. I may have been scared many times in the past to speak up and to speak out, but now I'm scared not to. Now I'm afraid that there's some people out there who are on the fence. How can you be on the fence? How can you be on the fence? You know, Don Lemon said something really amazing. He said, so he's a black man, he's a gay man, and he said that when Donald Trump worked and succeeded in getting Roe v. Wade overturned, he immediately felt threatened. Why? He's not a woman who could have an abortion. He's not a man who's dating a woman or married to a woman who could get pregnant that he might ever want or need an abortion for whatever reason. Many, many, many reasons. None of your fucking business why people do what they do, or what choices they choose, or what medical care they get. Just like people can go get boob jobs and nose jobs and fake calves and new jaws and all this stuff, and nobody's regulating that because it's nobody's fucking business. I mean, they're regulating it hopefully in the way that medical things should be regulated so that it's safe. The procedures are safe, and that the patients, you know, are able to get these things done without them actually getting harmed, dying. Isn't it insane that people are out here, they don't give a fuck if you get fake boobs, but when it comes to your choices in your family, raising a family or not raising a family, or whatever you want to do, or whatever you need to do, because there's so many reasons why that procedure could be needed. You know how many fucking rich, white, racist people have gotten abortions and get them right now? You know how many racist ass parents find out that their daughter or their son got somebody pregnant that wasn't the person it was supposed to be? And what do they want? What do they want for themselves? See, you have people like that dumb, stupid bitch who was talking on Parker's debate about she cares more about some cells in a petri dish than she does about a living, breathing woman. And she didn't say those words exactly, but she said the sentiments that mean those things. When you vote for a rapist, you condone it, you support it, you vote for that. When you vote for a racist, you condone it, you support it, you vote for it. When you vote for xenophobia, you support it, you vote for it. You cannot claim certain things are personal. Oh, I like his policies. Oh, I like his border. No. If you like that, that means you are aligned with him. And if you're aligned with him, you are also a racist, xenophobic, misogynistic, grapist, or grape apologist. Fortunately or unfortunately. And maybe it makes sense. Why would anybody want a lying, rapist, xenophobic, racist dictator to be in charge? Because they are racist, xenophobics, misogynistics. You want to control things because you can't play fair. You can't actually survive in a diverse, real world. You want to create some fictional thing where you can be at the top of a pyramid and everybody else is beneath you, below you, where you're standing on their shoulders and using them, stealing their resources, their energy, their hard work, and then trying to turn around and claim that they are not as good as you. Well, fuck you. This way, that way, every which way. And I hope that the law and order people who are currently happening right now are going to do the right thing when election day comes soon, and Kamala is going to win. It's clear because most people, the majority of people, do not want this to continue. Many of you fucking a-holes out there do, but I do believe that the majority of us want the majority of us to.
At lovedreamingpeach.com.
He said, so he's a black man. I have to stitch myself because I completely, I think I forgot to get to the point of why it was so amazing what Don Lemon said about when he heard when Donald Trump overturned Roe versus Wade. The reason why it was so, that for him that was like, oh my God, I could never vote for you. I have to not vote for you, even though what I was trying to say, even though he's gay and he could never, get pregnant in that kind of way or whatever. The reason that he thought it was so important is because he recognized if those people are willing to take away a woman's right to have autonomy over her own body, what would they do next? What would they be willing to do next? Am I next in line? So that's why I was pointing out that he's a black gay man, because he's like, are they going to come after me? He's married to a man. Are they going to come after his marriage? Or then, so he's like, once they start to take people's rights away, it's only time until you might be next. And so there are some kind of white people who you don't actively believe that you're racist, but you would vote for one. So that makes you racist, a racist apologist, a rapist apologist, or a closeted racist. You might be lying to yourself. And if you say, well, it's his border policies, it's his economy, it's his business sense, you're still racist, because his border policies are racist. And his stance on abortion, you might not think it's racist, it's misogynistic. And again, like I talked about in one of those videos many back, those rich white motherfuckers who don't want to have the baby, they have abortions. Believe me, the wealthy white folks are still getting those abortions. It's people of color and people of lower economic, place. Those are the people who are getting injured. But what Don Lemon said about, even if it's not affecting you personally right now, you're likely next. And even the white bros who want to suck and fucking eat his ass out, like literally just lick it from the crack, from the back to the crack. These are the lyrics I'm going to modify by Owie Jive, My Neck, My Back. All you ladies, pop your pee like this, shake your body, don't stop, don't miss. All you ladies, pop your pee like this. Lick it good, suck this pee just like you should right now. Lick it good, suck this pee just like you should. My neck, my back, lick my pee and my crack. My neck, my back, lick my pee and my crack. That's what you motherfucking magas are. You're singing that song to your cult leader. You already are in Schmittler land. Like, you're already there. You're making, and this is what I'm saying. Every single one of you people who are voting for him, you're lying to yourself if you don't think that you're aligned with misogyny, xenophobia, racism, sexual violence against women, against children. Yep, children. Like all those Miss USA teen pageant girls, all those 12-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old, 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old girls that he walked in on and groped some of them. And when you're the owner, they let you do it. Huh? They just walk all in there in his own words on Howard Stern, but you want to deny it. These people will deny 60 plus court cases. This is what I'm saying. You will find every excuse under the sun to make an excuse, to make up a reason, to find a way, a loophole, to blame somebody else, to other and monsterize other people. And then they'll take Kamala Harris, who's literally the most qualified person who's ever run for president in history. She has, let's see, bachelor degree from Howard University, Juris Doctorate from the University of California, Hastings College of Law, Deputy District Attorney. Then she was San Francisco City's Attorney, Chief of Community and Neighborhood Division, San Francisco District Attorney, California Attorney General, U.S. Senate, Vice President of the United States of America. Not qualified? Just showed up? What? Donald Trump qualifications, bachelor degree in economics. Took over his daddy's real estate agent. Had somebody ghost write a book for him. Was on a TV show. Had a presidential campaign, which I believe he did some shady things. Impeached twice in 2019 and 2021. Acquitted by the Senate both times. Civil cases found liable for defamation and battery against E. Jean Carroll, she was awarded $5 million in damages. Then civil fraud trial accused of inflating asset values. Ongoing trial regarding potential penalties. He was charged federally in Georgia for efforts to overturn the 2020 election. He was charged with mishandling classified documents and obstruction. He was charged with falsifying business records related to hush money payments to Stormy Daniels, who was a sex worker that he paid. What else? He's got more. Election interference, federal indictment, Georgia indictment, federal charges in Florida. Accused of illegally retaining classified documents. Hush money payments, defamation. I mean, but y'all make excuses. You make excuses and you say, none of that's real. All of those people are lying. Talk about the loopholes that you guys will create in your mind. The brain worms of hate. This idea that you are entitled to reap the benefits of other people's hard work, their education, their labor, their time, their energy, their effort, their life force, everything they do, their livelihood. You want to benefit and profit off of it, but then turn around and disparage those people, hold them back, oppress them, put them down, talk shit. And it's just disgusting. It's gross, and your time is up. I believe it's time to start making hate speech a problem again. Now, I do believe in freedom of speech, but I also believe that if you're inciting violence, and if you're saying things about groups of people that then cause other groups of people to turn around and do harmful things, that's inciting violence, then that should be considered a crime and you should be held accountable. You can say anything you want to say as long as you're not causing harm and damage to other people. Freedom of speech is not freedom to harm others. Freedom to speak your mind and your opinion, but in a civilized manner where it doesn't go to the places that you guys want it to go to. You guys being Trump supporters. So stop lying to yourself and trying to convince other people that, well, I'm not actually racist or xenophobic or misogynistic or any of the other bad things. Yes, you absolutely are. You're voting for it. That means you condone it. That means you like it. That means you're aligned with it. That means that that's what you like and want. That's what you're okay with. So just admit it. Or stop doing that and vote for Kamala. Thank you. See you.
Cáetele lovedreamingpeach.com.
It's 3:20. I just want to finish my thought a little bit about racists and why it's so important to speak out against racists, and why I wanted to make these videos, because the only way that I could imagine, like I was saying in the last video, trying to imagine a worldview where I would put myself in this mental space of one group of people, presumably the group I'm in, is somehow better than all the other groups, or some of the other groups, or to have like this idea internally of hierarchy of people, like some people are better than others and some people are not better than others, some people are worse than others. Like this eugenics crap that Trump is talking about, spewing out about genes. I believe in genes, good genes, as if certain people are just born better. And again, it comes down to what I believe. Oh, I think the other part too, what I didn't say, which I don't know if it was Conscious Lee who said it, or I have to be able to sort these I'm getting tired. Cite the sources of who said what, but ultimately the two-faced, dualistic, talking out one side of your mouth and out the other kind of thing about racists, is that on one hand, you want to profit off of the hard work that people of color do. You don't want to pay them. You want to go easy. You want to take it easy by having all the hard work be done by other people who you determine as not worthy. You give them the hardest stuff to do, and then you want to pay them the least amount and give them the least amount of credit, and then turn around and say, y'all are lazy, good for nothing, wanting handouts, or you're not qualified. Just the simple fact that you are diverse means you're not qualified. Just the simple fact that you're not a white guy, you're not qualified. We want to be able to say that. But we are, at the same time that we're saying that shit, we want to be able to profit off of all of your hard work. And then we want to turn around and say that you're lazy. You're lazy and you want a handout, even though we're lazy and we're getting the handout, and we're doing the whole switcheroo in front of your face. Oh, that's what I was saying about. So these bitch-ass, punk-ass, motherfucking pigs, they want these beautiful, hardworking people to do all the hard work. Not just the physical labor. The physical labor, the mental labor. And again, I truly believe and assert that the only reason that a group of people actively smear campaign, lie about, disparage, put down, and systemically oppress a group or groups of people is because they're users, they're resource stealers, they're energy stealers, they're energy vampires, they're hateful, they're inadequate, they don't believe. So when you create this false sense of a hierarchy of people and you say you're righteous and you're not righteous and you're the chosen one, or not, maybe that's just a myth to hold people back and hold people down and push people up. So you can say, you can have a storyline that says we were made to be the chosen ones and we're going to immigrate over there. But then when other people want to go from here to there, different places, you want to hate? Like, if you don't think you're inadequate, then you welcome diversity. Diversity is where people thrive. Diversity is where things thrive. Food thrives. Language thrives. Culture thrives. Health thrives. When the pool of people having babies together is homogeneous and lacks diversity, it causes diseases. It causes all kinds of problems. It causes death and destruction. Diversity is where people thrive. People can be healthier. Now, of course, some cultures are more diverse than others, and like I'm saying, I can't relate, but I can logic some semblance of a reason. Like, the reason that people want to push down others is because they have frail egos, they're inadequate, they're just a bunch of self-pleasuring or like circle jerk kind of, all of us suck and we're inadequate and we know we can't compete against everybody else, so let's just say we're in a special club of greatness and they all suck. But actually, no, you guys are the ones that suck. You're the small-minded, small pea-brain cretins. You're the Neanderthals. Let's not insult Neanderthals. You're the ones that should be scraped off the bottom of somebody's shoe and put into the garbage because you're parasites. And yeah, that's kind of Hitler talk. But the mentality that one group of people are superior to others and all the other groups should be used, abused, and oppressed and suppressed and disposed of, that is disgusting. That's the same mentality that would use up all the resources on Earth and blow it up, not care about it, because you just want to get Joes and you don't care about nothing and nobody else. Like this one guy on Parker's thing, I don't owe you morality. And you know, this whole like, well, I'm gonna get mine, I don't care about you. That's MAGA. That's racist white people. So screw you, F you, up yours, go to hell. All that stuff. I despise. I am actually very prejudiced against racist white people. Racist all people, but mostly racist white people, because you're the most dangerous, destructive, disgusting, despicable creatures on Earth. And you've been the problem, and you've always been the problem, and you always will be. And hopefully you'll lose.
Got lovedreamingpeach.com.
Good morning. It's 11:18 on October 30th. And I got a bunch of clean dishes over there. And some dirty ones. But anyway, I am actually busy working, and I was just listening to Don Lemon. I'm going to pour myself some coffee live. Listening to him live, and he was talking about how Donald Trump was calling the United States a garbage can. And when he talks about people immigrating from other countries, he always refers to immigrants as criminals, rapists, people coming out of insane asylums, the R word, the M word, like, that is the ultimate definition of xenophobia. You are equating everybody who's foreign, everybody who comes from somewhere else, as a bad person. And the irony is that he is all of those things. Who would run on a platform of hatred? Why would he think that the people who he's trying to gain as voters would go for that? Why do you think? Why do you think the people who vote for him go for that? Because they are hateful. And anybody who's voting for Trump or did vote for Trump or is considering voting for Trump, why would you want somebody who's putting you down, who's insulting you, who's disparaging you, and then maybe say, oh, he's not insulting me. He's not disparaging me. He's not trying to take away my rights. He's trying to increase my rights. Yeah, he's putting a bunch of other people down. But that is going to rise me up. Again, this is what I was saying. I don't like this lighting better. This is what I was saying last night about racism. And again, just to reiterate, yes, people of color can have prejudice towards people. You can have racial prejudice towards a person, but you cannot be racist, systemically racist towards a white person, because racism is a system set up by white people specifically to disparage, to oppress, to undermine, and to suck dry and pull out and steal from anyone who isn't in their in crowd. The white man and some white women who go along with it. A lot of white women go along with the racist crap because they think, well, if I align with the strong one, then I'll be safe. I learned, not just recently, but a few years ago now, but, they talk about women's suffrage. And yes, it's great that women got the vote, but what they don't teach you in your regular schooling is that. So these are some quick notes. Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton were included in some prominent white suffragists who excluded black women from mainstream suffrage organizations to prioritize support from white Southerners. They used racist arguments. Some white suffragists argued for women's suffrages by promoting the idea that white women votes would counterbalance black men's votes, especially in the South. Black women's separate organizations due to exclusion. Some black women, like Ida B. Wells and Mary Church Terrell, formed their own suffrage club, which addressed both racial and gender issues. There was racism at the 1913 suffrage parade, a major march in Washington, D.C., where organizers instructed black women to march at the back of the parade. And some, like Ida B. Wells, refused to join. And when the 19th Amendment passed in 1920, black women, especially in the South, continued to face barriers such as literacy tests, poll taxes, effectively disenfranchising them until the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Okay, so yeah, whoopity-doo, they wanted the white vote, but they wanted the white vote. They wanted to counteract, to counterbalance black people being allowed to vote, and they wanted to continue to oppress, suppress, and disenfranchise black people and people of color, black women. So, all throughout history, white women, not all white women, but the ones who do, they've stood by their racist, disgusting white men, and they are just as equally racist. When I listen to Parker and he does those debates for people who are voting for Trump, it's like 99% white people, and then it's 50-50 between men and women. I personally am still, like I said last night, it never ceases to amaze me that I'm never ceased to amaze at how appalled and shocked I am at how racist people are. How truly, and it's ridiculous to say that living in a systemically racist society, but it just shocks me still because it's so despicable. It's so pea-brained. It's so utterly disgusting. And hearing how many women are not only racist, but also misogynistic. And I understand on some level that when you're raised a certain way and everything you know, it's ubiquitous, it's everywhere, and it just seeps into you and you don't even know that it's there. Like, you know, people didn't even know that they used to be breathing air. You know, they say, oh, a fish doesn't even know about the water. Well, people didn't even used to know about air. And I understand, like I was saying in all those videos, I ended up talking for about an hour last night. The fact is that for some white people, ultimately, they will never not be racist because that's their only way that they can think of themselves in a way that makes them feel better. Like they have to put other people down in order to make themselves feel propped up. They literally prop themselves up on top of other people and look down at them and say, you're somehow less than me. And I'm up here looking down at you. And that makes me better. And it's because they are inferior. It's because they know that ain't shit. It's because they know white people can't dance. White people can't jump. Now, of course, that's not true. Those are stereotypes, okay? But once people of color started to have opportunities, started to have access to all the once only white spaces, well, many, countless people have and will continue to surpass, to exceed, to break records, to literally dominate, to be better than. Now, of course, there's great white people in all facets of life, but the fact is that y'all are just people like anybody else. And just like not every black person is going to exceed and excel better than every white person, or every Puerto Rican, or every Mexican, or every whatever, fill in the blank of whatever other that you want to put in there. The fact is that we are all human beings, and we all deserve to be treated equally. We all deserve equality. And it's just time to start calling out disgusting racism for exactly what it is. You guys are the worst. You're bottom dwelling mentally. You're the basement dwelling. You are ass backwards, and we're not going back. We're sick of your shit. We're tired of it. We're tired of you. You think you're the best, and you're the worst. It's just disgusting. You are not all that. In fact, your shit stinks, and you stink like shit. And it's disgusting, and it's despicable. And I'm just so tired of it. You don't have to be Mrs. Nice Guy. You can call it out and say, enough is enough. Go F off, you goddamn.
At lovedreamingpeach.com.